Hello everyone, welcome to Be the Programmer Academy, where we work on real-world projects and we help you become the developer that stands out. Okay, so if you're looking to learn to code in 2026, you should keep these 5 things in mind. Number one, only you know the reason you want to learn to code. It could be just for fun. It could be also something you want to make a career of. So I would advise you, before you go ahead and put in your time into learning to code, you should actually check to see if there's even demand for it. So I would say you should do your research into what kind of programming jobs are in your area and if they suit your lifestyle. For example, these days there are jobs where you can work remotely and there are jobs where you might actually have to go into the office. So one way of doing this, a lot of websites offer statistics on job demands and programming languages, and I'm going to put one of them here so you can see different jobs title and you can also see their salaries if that's something that concerns you. Wink wink. And another thing I would advise is actually go to LinkedIn if you have one, and if you don't, you should have one. So go to LinkedIn, go to the job search, then put in where you live or whatever city you're in, and just look at the kind of jobs that comes out. See what companies are asking for, see how much they're offering, and most importantly, look in the requirements and see the kind of skills they're demanding that you should have. So now you've done this and you've settled on something that works for you and your lifestyle, then you want to go to number 2. Now we've have a good idea of what companies are asking for and what skills they're looking for. You want to do 2 things next. So number 1, you want to pick a craft, because let's be honest here, tech is really broad. You know, there's front-end engineers, there's back-end engineers, there's cloud architects, there's network architects, there's data science, and it goes on and on. Okay, so you want to pick one, and number 2, you want to find a programming language in that field and you want to get really good at it. For example, if you want to do web development, you know that you should learn JavaScript and you have to learn it really well. And let's say if you want to do data science, you know that you have to learn Python and you have to learn it really well. Now, why do you have to learn these languages very well? Number 1 is actually, it's because I want to say foundation, but okay, let's take JavaScript for example. In the front end field, JavaScript, a lot of libraries and even frameworks build up on JavaScript like React, Next.js, AngularJS, right? You see the suffix of JS, it's just JavaScript they're building on. So if you don't know JavaScript, which is the foundation, you might have some issues trying to learn or trying to go higher in this field. And another thing is, if you learn one programming language really well, it's kind of easier to pick up another one. This is because most of them follow the same principles. Like if you can solve a problem in one language, you're going to find it a bit easier, or at least you will have an idea of how to translate it to another language, right? If you can solve a problem in JavaScript, you just have to find the terms and maybe the principles to do it in Python, but it's not going to be as difficult as someone who hasn't learned or have a good understanding of at least one language. So this is going to take us to number 3. So now you know what language you want to learn. The question is, how are you going to learn it? A bit of a backstory here. Growing up, I spent a lot of time playing video games. And to me, I just thought one day, why not make my own video games? You know, so I was just curious, and that's where I started. So I learned C# and was it C or C#? I forget. It was a long time ago, with Unity Engine, and I started making, you know, those Infinite Runner games and X and O, Connected Dots, this kind of games. And that's how I started learning to code. And then I got into websites and app development. The point I'm trying to make is I'm a big proponent of project-based learning. So I will really encourage you to learn by doing, which is one thing we focus on in this channel. So the reason for this is, number 1, it's going to let you put your skills or what you've learned into practice right away. Number 2, it's going to give you things to push to your GitHub. So you're gonna have code to push. Trust me, some recruiters, they do check that stuff, your GitHub activity. So you want to make sure you're making frequent pushes to your GitHub. And it's just a good look, because it's one thing to say, oh, I know Python. It's another thing to say, oh, look what I've done with Python, or look what I've done with JavaScript, right? That gives you a bit of more credibility, in my opinion anyways. And another thing is, it's going to give you a project that you can immediately put onto your portfolio. So if you're a developer, you're looking to get into programming, in one of my courses, I've actually built a beautiful portfolio website. We use cutting edge technologies, Next.js, of course, JavaScript on the line. We used AI to make a beautiful chatbot. We have language translation, we have theme. So you have the dark theme, light theme, and it's a beautiful portfolio project or portfolio website. So any project you make from here on out, you can just simply put it in. So if you like that, you want to check it out. Number 4, AI. AI. There's a lot to be said about AI. It's the big buzz right now, and you should be using it, or at least you should be looking into it. So as a beginner, depending on what IDE you're using, for example, I use VS Code most of the time, you can get AI agents to help you with that IDE. For example, you can use Claude, you can use Cline, you can use RuCode, even GitHub Copilot, right? Just choose one and start somewhere. And these AI agents, especially if you're a beginner, you should, I would say, don't over depend on them to do your work for you. Instead, I would say treat them as a co-engineer, right? So if you have issues, ask the AI agent about it. Like, depending on which one you're using, you can just highlight the issue and ask them. They offer good explanations. So make sure you read the explanations and make sure you understand them. I found in my personal life, it's really helped saving time. For example, back in the day, if I had a bug or an error, I would have to go and, Google the error and read articles on Stack Overflow websites, just trying to understand it. But these days, you can just ask the agent what's going on here. That saves you a lot of time. But I would say focus on using it as a teacher, especially if you're learning. So you really understand what's going on in the code before you get to a place where you're just telling it to do something in the full agent mode. Last but not least, number 5, reputation. You want to build a track record, right, of your programming skills. We talked about having a good portfolio. We talked about your GitHub repo. So some recruiters trust me. I'm aware of some interviews that they actually not selected the candidates because they didn't think they were active enough in their GitHub activity. So you want to make sure that you have a good, you're pushing to GitHub. You want to make sure that your portfolio looks good. You're showcasing your projects. You want to make sure that if you have LinkedIn, you're also showcasing your projects there or what you learned there. You also want to, maybe you can take it a step further, make a YouTube channel, post about your progress, write some articles about it. You can also contribute to open source. That's another good way of just building some credibility out there. And again, a bit of backstory for me. My first job in the software field was actually for free. So I wasn't getting paid, but I really wanted to have experience. So I was working for free actually. And it really helped me getting that reward experience. And it really helped me utilize the skills I've learned. So I really advise you, just for your starts or when you're starting off, try to get whatever you can get and just gain that experience. And just give your best. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the video. And if you feel like any tips were helpful, please like, subscribe for more content. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments section below. If you want to check out the courses, project-based courses, we've built a Pinterest clone, built a YouTube clone, a portfolio project. I'm also working on some cool projects like a Snapchat web clone and even a Facebook Messenger clone. So this year is going to be epic. So you want to tune in for that. So make sure you subscribe, okay? And I will catch you next time.